hit the record. Okay, so good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first of what I hope to be a series of Women's Entrepreneurship Program seminar type / webinar get-togethers via Zoom. And I just wanted to welcome everybody this morning. And before I get going, I am going to share my screen so that I can welcome you with my little infographic here. So welcome to the Women's Entrepreneurship Zoom meeting. I wanted to just let you know that the Women's Entrepreneurship Program the project is funded in part by the Government of Canada through the Federal Economic Development Agency for Southern Ontario, as well as the Ontario East Economic Development Commission. So I wanted to make sure that I did that. And now I'm going to try and get back to my main screen.
Don't press leave.
I know. I know.
In the middle.
Okay, well.
Thank
you know what?
you.
That's okay. We're good. Okay, so what I wanted to just start off by saying this morning too is that the Business and Entrepreneurship Center of Northumberland, we are one of the 5 regions that are piloting this program, the Women's Entrepreneurship Program. I'm not quite sure that we have everybody on from the other regions as of yet. So I am going to, I think I was going to have each of them sort of say good morning and hello. Diane, I see you from Kawartha Lakes. Maybe you could just say good morning from Kawartha Lakes, tell them, you know, a little bit about your region, and I'll look for anyone else that's here. Go ahead, Diane.
Yeah, I'm trying to turn off my stupid volume here. But anyhow, welcome everybody. Hi, yes, I'm Diane Stephen. A couple of my program participants have signed on so far this morning, and I'm glad to see both. I'm just going to get my eyes on here. I've got Virginia, and where did I see Athena? Hi. So I'm glad you guys were able to join us so far this morning, and I'm hoping a few more will sign up as well. So for those of you who aren't familiar with Kawartha Lakes, we're just west of Peterborough. Our borders touch. So Kawartha Lakes, you're really more familiar with Lindsay, Benham Falls, Bob Cajun, and all those well-known smaller communities, but we're part of Kawartha Lakes, and we're proud to be part of rural Ontario, and there's some great things going on here. But welcome everybody. And I'm so happy to be part of the Women's Entrepreneurship Program.
Thanks, Diane. I don't see anyone else, so I'm just going to quickly let you know that the region of Leeds-Grenville is also piloting the women's program. Leeds-Grenville, and that's Wendy Onstein, and Prescott-Russell is another region that's piloting the women's program, and the region of Durham. So Teresa Shaver, Business Advisory Center, Durham. So she is there. Those are the other 3 regions, along with Kawartha Lakes and Northumberland. So it's a large area. Actually, and I did see. Lucy, maybe you want to say good morning. Lucy's with Ontario East. I know I'm putting you on the spot, Lucy. Just say good morning.
Thanks, Diane. I'm looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say. I'm not really involved that much in the programming of the project. I'm pretty much the money girl. I handle all the cash. But very interested. I've been hearing wonderful things from our 5 partners about what we're doing and trying to accomplish with this program in spite of the many challenges that we face with COVID. Yeah, looking forward to hearing what everyone has to say. And thanks, Diane.
That's great. Thanks, Lucy. Okay, so just because this is a large group today and I am expecting more people to join in, what I thought I would like to have you do is in the chat alongside the meeting today, put your name, put your business name and a contact email. And again, because the chat will be shared. And I just thought it would be nice for everyone to see, you know, who's on the call and the types of businesses that are represented here this morning. And so if you could do that at some point, and don't forget to put some contact information too, that would be great. I'm also going to ask you, as the meeting, as Sofie starts her presentation, is questions. If you have questions while she's speaking, if you want to just put them into the chat, and I will be sort of moderating the chat room as Sofie chats this morning. And then at the end of her presentation, I can go over the chat. And again, if there's time at the end just for open conversation, that would be great too. So, but I think that's how we'll try and do it this morning. Okay, so Sofie Andreou, she is the founder of her own company, 123digitalpower.com. She founded that business back in 2002, so she's been at it for a number of years. She basically helps business owners succeed through online courses, marketing coaching, social media coaching as well. I know that Sofie's got a lovely slide that sort of introduces herself, so I'm not going to take up any more of your time. I'm going to turn it over to Sofie, and we can sit back and enjoy. Thanks.
Thank you so much, Diane. It's a pleasure working with you again. I so enjoy it. Welcome all female entrepreneurs. 5 high. Oh yeah, babies. Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I am so proud of each and every one of you. I've never had my own human children, but there is so much that we have to do day to day, plus run our companies. I mean, just my hat's off to you, especially if you have human children. I'm very lucky with my 4-legged children. I can leave for a number of hours with a bowl of food on the ground. Bet you can't do that. So, and I have a dog door so they can pee and poo on their own. So I really admire you. I can't say. And so we all have our struggles through COVID, and I'm not going to get into what mine might be right now, because then I'll just start crying. I don't want me going there. But I do love what I do, and that keeps me really, really focused, because I can departmentalize, and I realize that's the skill you need as I don't know, maybe any entrepreneur, woman or man, but you need to be able to departmentalize. When you're on, and you are focused on the people you're working with, you guys. When you're at home, you're focused on the people that you love and you're working with at home, or with your friends. But you always have to find time and carve out time for yourself, or else you're no good to anyone. So my time for myself is walking my dogs in the morning. If I don't do that, between us adults, I'm a real bitch. And I don't have much compassion for all those that I should. And I don't suffer fools if I haven't walked my dogs. And it's like, oh my gosh. So you really need to know, what is it that puts you in a place where, you know what, small things really don't matter. Like they're not a big deal. What makes you the person you are? What will help you balance? And I found that through my walks and through my camping. We camp in a VW bus. Ours is not yellow. Ours is blue. And we've been to Mexico in it a few times. We've been across Canada and across the States. Not sure when we'll be able to do any of that again, but I've experienced quite a bit with it. And I'm very lucky to have found that. I always take the dogs with us. So I'm going to share my screen right now. And can you see my presentation? Good, thank you. So today I'm going to be talking about Google Business as far as the part of my presentation that has to do with work. But first, I'm going to let you know a little bit about myself and how I've pivoted through COVID. So I have an undergrad in computer science from the University of Windsor. I have a master's of engineering from the University of Toronto. And I did the master's in engineering after I was already working at Bell for a number of years, because I realized I was the only female in an engineering position, and I needed something that gave me some credibility. And I felt, as many people were going back for their MBA at the time. And so I went back for my engineering master's, and I did that part-time from the time I was 28. I think I graduated when I was in my late 30s or my mid 30s, but it took, I think, 5 or 6 years part-time at night to do that. And then I was the whole time from right after university to that time. I was a person that worked at Bell Canada on Bay Street, and I really enjoyed that. I understand large companies, and I was there when analog was the only way. You had 2.4 bits per second coming into your home. So the transitions I have seen have been amazing. And my job had always been, you be that person that's going to go out to that corporation and explain to them what they can do now with this larger bandwidth, and so being that person, I've always learned to understand what is it that my target client is, what makes them successful. And I've always learned how to talk about technology and solutions. And that's what I realized you need to do on social media. You understand what is it that your target audience, what pain are you solving with your service or product, no matter what your service or product is, and how can you describe that to your target audience? And I realized the conditioning I had way back then at Bell enabled me to naturally have that conversation for my clients. So then I was a chief operating officer of a startup. We took it public, and I reported to the board of directors. That was exciting times. And then it busted. That was not so exciting. I lost every penny I had. I was driving a Jag at the time, and not anymore after that. I couldn't even buy milk. So I went from, being that person in the corner booth at the high-end restaurants on Bay Street to just not even knowing how I was going to pay a thing. I had so much debt. Life was kind of over, I thought. I was married to a man that was an alcoholic, and I didn't know what to do. Anyways, that's not a big deal, really. And so then, anyway, sorry about that. So then I moved to this area and dumped that husband, and fell in love with this area, and didn't know what I was going to do for a living. And I started my own company because at the time, people were really trying to understand what social media was. How do you use social media for business? How do you use it for tourism? How do you use it to, promote a municipality, which is where I met Diane in the first place, out at Kawartha Lakes. And the whole thing was, municipalities were my first clients back then. How do we promote our municipalities, our businesses in our municipalities? And then after that, it was, how do the businesses promote themselves on this thing called the internet? So it went from best practices of websites, business directories, to social media that businesses could leverage the power. And I realized I loved it. I absolutely loved working with people and helping them understand how to make this, work for them. Anyways, so that's who I am. And right now, what I have done, as Diane mentioned, I've founder of 123 Digital Power, used to be called Sofie Andreou and Associates. It's hard to one day sell your own name as the company. So if I want to sell my company one day, that's why I changed the name. As an entrepreneur, you want to think about that. What if you're going to sell your company later in years? Are you going to sell your own human name, or are you going to sell another name? So obviously I would sell 123 Digital Power one day, my client list and my clients and how I do things versus my name. So that's why I changed it a couple of years ago. So half of the time I spend hands-on. I do the social media for a number of companies, Kawartha TV and Stereo, knock on wood. One that you may recognize in all of the different locations we're in is Chesler Shoes. I just started working with them last week. I love working with family-run companies more than anything, and they have 6 locations across all of the people that are online right now. So it's a lot of fun. And then the other 50% of my time I spend training like this. Mainly now. It used to be face-to-face coaching and face-to-face training groups, but now it's definitely all virtual. So training, 360 photos. I forgot we do that as well for Northumberland Tourism. Actually, I've been out and about to about 30 locations in the last little while doing their 360 photos and uploading them right to Google for them, because we're a Google agency. And I'm hands-on for a number of companies, and I love that. I feel like I'm an artist. I get to see through the eyes of the clients for each of these different businesses, because every business is different and each of their clients are different. So when I become Chesler Shoes, I have to become their clients and how do they think? When I'm Knock on Wood, I have to become their clients and how do they think? When I'm Pan Austin, which is a Canadian manufacturer of checkouts, I have to become their clients and how does a B2B company think? So it's really cool. So I love that. Maybe I'm a little schizophrenic, but it's how I departmentalize as well. It's almost like I'm playing make-believe. I get to be these other companies for a bit, be them, and it's very fulfilling for me. It really works. So how did I pivot during COVID when it all first started? These were just some of the pictures I started taking of the groups I was helping online. It went from all of a sudden the DBIA in Peterborough reached out and said, can you help our DBIA businesses pivot? And then an Electric City arts organization reached out and said, can you help our organizations pivot? So next thing I knew, I was doing hour coaching sessions for and helping them go from their retail organization, or if they're an artist, and how do they now share online. So that's how we pivoted. So now the business part of today. That's a little bit about me. And when Diane reached out, and she and I have done a number of different, we've been on some different webinars recently together, and we talked and we both agreed that Google My Business is one of the most important things that I wanted to share with you. There's some really cool new things that have just happened on Facebook and on Instagram, but we thought we would focus on this one, and I'll talk about this just for the next I guess 20 minutes, and then open it up for questions, and then we'll wrap up. So I'll try to finish at 1:45. My slide deck has many more slides, supporting slides. So what I promised Diane I would do is after this, I will save it as a PDF and send it to you guys. I might have to save it, Diane, as 3 PDFs because it's still too freaking big. I tried sending it right before we started and it said, nope, can't get there from here. So my question to you all is, what is the question was on this slide, what is Google My Business? And the answer is, it's your Google listing. So Google My Business, it's the same thing. It's your Google listing. So what is Google My Business? The answer is, it's your Google listing. So if you've been on any of my webinars, you've heard me say this before, that you've got a subconscious happening in the digital world, and you've got the conscious, or you've got a subliminal message and you've got a direct message. So the subconscious and the subliminal are Facebook. When you're on there and you're just, browsing through and you're seeing what your friends are saying about a company, or you're seeing that your friends love a certain trail, then you start saying, wow, I might want to go to that trail, or I might like that company to find out more. It's the subliminal. You're not on there to find out about that company. Even though I did buy this shirt online, I hate to admit it. I should show you a picture of what it actually looked like when I saw the picture and what it looked like when it arrived. But I realized it matched my logo. So I thought, well, I'm going to wear it today. That is the coolest thing. But it's this weird material. Anyways, what is conscious or direct? It's when you go to Google and you search for something. And you're not just on Google seeing what your friends are doing. You're on Google because you are specifically looking for a florist, or you're specifically looking for an insurance broker. You're specifically looking for something. So your Google listing helps Google understand who you are. So that's why I call that the direct or the conscious. So basically, your Google listing is actually more powerful than your website. I have had clients who have increased their sales by spending time on their Google listing and optimizing it versus on their website. It's very powerful. It helps you appear, and this is what I'll be sharing with you in our short time together, appear in voice searches. So when you say, hey Google, where is the closest florist? She will go and answer, and she gets that information first from your Google listing. and then from your website. So you really want to make sure your Google listing is optimized. And I'll show you what I mean by that. It also helps you improve your reputation. Why? Because there are things called reviews on your Google listing, which helps people understand. Well, people will look at that to see, say they're looking for 2 florists and one has 5 out of 5 reviews and the other has none. They're going to go to the one with the 5 out of 5 reviews. Or they're looking for 2 web designers or 2 social media agencies, service providers. They're going to go to the one that has some reviews versus the one that doesn't. So regardless if you're a storefront, if you sell a product, or if you're a service provider and you don't have a storefront, you work remotely where you don't accept people into your office, then you both will benefit from your Google listing. Okay, so what is a listing? What is a listing? What do you think is a listing? What comes to mind when you think of what is in the Google listing? What does it have? What are its components? So these are the elements of your Google listing. So it improves your search and voice search on Google. So when someone searches it, if you actually do have a location, it'll physically come up on the map. It's that map point. If you don't have a location, you're able to indicate which areas you serve. So I indicate that I serve the southwestern of, the southeastern Ontario, East Ontario area. So I put in all of those areas for where I serve. Whereas if you have a retail location, you put in the address and the map point comes out. So for me, if you search for digital marketing agencies in Peterborough, a big map point comes up in just Peterborough, not my home address. So that's really cool. Business profile, that's another thing that it is. Your Google listing is your ultimate business profile. As Diane knows, I used to work at a company that created business directories. And I left them when I realized how big the Google listing directories were. Because I thought, okay, you guys, you're on your own now. I've got my agency started getting bigger and bigger. I realized that people will be going to Google to find the same information they were looking for on these directories. So that's really cool. So it's your business profile. You're able to add to it photos, you're able to add to it your location if you have a location, but you're able to add it products and services. That's the biggest thing, products and services of what you sell, and questions and answers. Those questions and answers, you can have, there's a place on your Google listing where you can put a question and an answer. Think about that for a second. What questions would you put on there? You would put the questions that people would normally ask Google for, and then you would put in the answers that you would want Google to quote back. So that's how you want to improve your voice search, improve the search results by feeding your Google listing with the questions and answers you want it to tell people when they're looking for you. So that is kind of a secret that I have done with my the clients that I'm hands-on that I post for. Once a week, I go to their Google listing and I post there. Depending on the type of company, some I post for twice a day on social media. Others, it's only 3 times a week on social media. But all of them, once a week, I go to the Google listing and I post something that talks about a product they sell and I link it back to their website. And when we look at their analytics every month, they have it shows that they have more links to their website from the Google listing than any other platform. And in these companies, a lot of these companies are large enough where they do print ads, they do newspaper ads, they do radio ads, they do Google paid ads. But where are we getting the links to their website? From the Google listing. More than the Google paid ads. It is very, very powerful. But you have to go to it once a week and post. And you're thinking, what are my clients searching for this week that I sell? So obviously, if it's the middle of winter, I'm not going to post e-bikes for Kawartha TV and stereo. I'm going to do that at the beginning of the summer. So you kind of think about what's popular right now and you post that, and I'll show you what I mean. So you're able to connect and sell through your Google listing, because your Google listing allows you, like I said, to put up products. And people will see these products, they click on it, and they can buy. Especially if you have e-commerce on your website, you link them right back to your site to buy from your site. It's really powerful. For someone like Knock on Wood, who doesn't have an e-commerce site, instead we just say show directions. So we show people how to get there. And sometimes we want them to see the gallery on the website. So we'll show them the gallery. So it has been effective for businesses that sell e-commerce and those businesses that aren't e-commerce on their site, and they're both have increased sales for those businesses. The reviews, as I said, that's another element of your Google listing, are the reviews. People can leave you reviews on your Google listing, and they are powerful. Google will look to see if you have a similar profile to someone else that you've created on your Google listing, but you have more reviews than somebody else. Google will present the business search results of the business that has more reviews than that one that doesn't. So it helps you improve your search engine optimization. And then, like I said, your analytics, really powerful analytics on your Google listing, and it's all free. I think that might be my next question, but anyways, and it's all free, where you can look at your analytics on Google listing and see how many calls did it generate. So people are found it and they press call right from the Google listing. People found it, they press directions from the Google listing. People found it, they press on website. So it tells you exactly what they did when they found your Google listing, and it tells you where they were from, and it tells you what words they searched for. Very powerful. So it's one of the most powerful tools, and it's not used as much as it should be by anybody. And those companies, I'll tell you something. One of my clients, during COVID, we decided to really dial down all the social media activity, because they were a retailer, they were closed during the beginning of COVID for 2 or 3 months. I guess 3 months. I apologize. I don't remember. I think it was 3 months they were closed. And at that time, I was just doing kind of a little drip. I was just doing a little bit of social media for them. And we decided not to do any Google listing. If I knew now what I knew then, I wouldn't have done that. So then when we came back, we did a search for them. They were 40th. They weren't even on the first page. They were on the second page of Google, whereas normally they were second or third. So what I started doing was doing my free for them, posting on their Google listing once a week again. Now they're back to 3 on Google listing. So these free posts you can do to Google listing help you increase your ranking on Google. It was as clear as day when I did that for them, and I thought, wow, that's really amazing. You know, we stopped for 3 or 4 months, any Google listings, and we couldn't figure out what's different. We're posting, you know, we've improved the website because we added some blogs to the website, which we know is good for SEO. And we started doing the Google listings, and sure enough, we got them right back up again. So, and I've checked with others and they have told me the same thing. So who owns your Google listing? So Google basically owns it until you claim it. So you're able to either create a new listing or claim it. And we have coaching sessions and steps on how to claim your listing. So that's a very simple thing to do. I'm going to be sending you for free the PowerPoint, but I do have a number of videos on the Google listing if you're interested. And I didn't mean to actually have that in this PowerPoint, Diane, I apologize. So I'm just going to continue. Why are Google listings important? So it helps you get found, it's free, and it's critical for managing your reputation. Reputation management is really, really important, especially I think during COVID. I'm doing a 2021 trends presentation for one of my larger clients, ESSO branded resellers across the country next week, another virtual conference I'm speaking at. And in the 2021 trends, we're finding that before COVID, third-party confirmation, second-party confirmation of your brand, like reviews, like client testimonials, were important. And during COVID, it's become even more important. So the Google reviews, which are really critical to managing your reputation, and the Google listings for feeding the voice search. So this is an example of your, I searched for fuel resellers in Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, and in there comes up these dots and these right here. These are Google listings. So those are your Google listings. Anything that shows up above the fold is either a paid ad or a Google listing. And what I mean by above the fold, that's another reason your Google listing is so important. It shows up first when people are doing their search results, whether it's on their cell phone or whether it's on their computer. So another reason your Google listing is so important is it shows up above the fold in this beautiful kind of box, and they can see photos if you've put them in there, but they also see your reputation. So it's really important. And here's one: grocery stores downtown Peterborough. And what comes up is the food shop, Greg's No Frills, Min's Chinese Grocers. So this one is what both of these, the food shop and Min's, are Google listings that I started posting to as services based on the Digital Main Street grant that they both received. And I posted for them just for 4 months at the beginning of this year. So we entered into COVID, as you know, where do you source food from became very important. And because of the posting we were doing to their Google listings, they were coming up before Sobeys and Metros, like the large grocery stores. So I was thrilled to be able to help these little food shops be so successful. And these are, again, examples of their Google listings. And when you clicked on there or there, you end up going to their Google listing. So here, for example, grocery stores downtown Peterborough, there's the food shop. I clicked on Min's for you just so you can see what I meant. So his logo we put up here, and he does not have a website. He didn't have a website. So what we did was Google listing will create for you for free a website if you want. And so what we did with him was we created a website for free on the Google listing. And then these things down here, these products that you see, they are just posts on the Google listing. So what happens is the website is going to collect all the posts from your Google listing. That becomes the content of the Google website. The Google listing itself is going to collect all the products or posts that you have promoted or that you've posted for free, and it puts that on the listing. So you can imagine, before I met this fellow, he had all these reviews, beautiful reviews. People loved him, except he wasn't replying to them because he didn't, he hadn't claimed it yet. So it's kind of a beautiful thing. So in this case, we just started putting these product posts up. And where did I get these product posts? His wife's got a good eye, and she was taking photos and putting posts up on his Facebook page from some years ago. We looked at the products that he still had, and we just posted those. So once a week, I'd go in and take a different product that he said he still sells, and we posted on his Google listing. So he had some product. So it's not difficult. And why do I say once a week? Why do I suggest you do your Google listing once a week? Because what happens is, on the Google listing, if I was doing a search on the Google listing and you just did a post, it'll actually show up with the Google listing account. It'll actually show up. After a week, it disappears unless they click on your business name. So it'll actually show up in this area here if you just did it within a week. Otherwise, it disappears. When they click on you, it's all there, though. It is all there. It doesn't disappear like a story after a week. It's still part of the account. So that's kind of cool. So this one is just, I wanted you to share with you, even if you don't have an address. I have here, for example, digital marketing trainers near me. And I come up first, and then there are some others that come up that are also digital marketing trainers. So I went in as a human, and it knew where I was, and I said, look for digital marketing trainers near me. And I cleared my cookies to make sure that it didn't realize I had checked before. So this is a company, my company, without an address, but I put Peterborough as my home city. So that's why it came up there. So how do you access Google after you've claimed your listing? Do you know how you access it? So what's important is to think through the Gmail account that you would like associated with your Google listing. Again, if you ever sell your company, I would suggest you're going to have that Gmail account go along with the Google listing. Or if you are in a role where you're in a larger company and you've claimed your Google listing, if you ever move companies, that email that you claimed it with stays with the Google listing. Okay, so think about, first of all, what Gmail am I going to use to claim it? And often what I do with clients is I will create a new Gmail account for them for their Google listing if they haven't claimed it yet. And then what we often do is we have that same Gmail account be the one that drives their Twitter, that drives their Instagram, that drives their LinkedIn. So we've got one Gmail account that kind of drives all of their social media platforms. It's kind of a nice way. That way everything's nice and tidy. So I personally like having things tidy. I'm ADD. So if it's not on a list and it's not tidy, I get nervous. So I like things on lists, and I like that works very well. So what you do is then when you log back into your Gmail account that you claimed it with, gmail.com, you're logging into it. Remember these dots, I'm hoping you can see it, that are on next Gmail images, these dots. When you click on it, it opens up all of your Google apps. Well, what will show up there after you've claimed it is My Business. It's like, it looks like a little house and it's called My Business. So that is how you click on that and you access your Google listing. Once you've done that, you can download that same app on your cell phone. And I'm finding a lot of retailers that I work with, a lot of restaurant owners that I work with, I've gotten them to download it to their phone. And that's how they post to their Google listing from their phone, because they don't have time to go to their computer. They don't remember. So they take the photo on their phone and they post from there. But obviously you can do it from both. Okay, so this is what it looks like on your cell phone. Very similar. I went to the Play Store in my case, and I downloaded this app. It's called My Business, and I'm able to access it. It asks you which Gmail account. I tell it which Gmail account, so it knows that Gmail account I claimed my Google Business. So on your Google Business, when you go into it on the bottom left, you can add managers to your account. So I've been added as a manager to the Knock on Wood, Kawartha TV and Stereo, so that I can go into one Google My Business, but I think that may not be applicable. So can more than one person be admin on your Google listing? The answer is yes, but I'm not sure how applicable that is to the people on this call. But there are 3 types of admins in case it is applicable. There's an owner, and I always suggest that you as the business owner be the owner. Don't hire someone and get them to be the owner, because then you might lose control of your Google listing, right? So as the business owner, you should create the Gmail account or have them create the Gmail account, give you the email and password, and then be the owner. And then you can add managers if you want someone else to post to it for you. And that's what I suggest. So for a lot of my clients, I'm added as a manager. I don't want to be the owner. I don't want, oh my goodness, I'd hate to have something happen to their Google listing. So these are all the capabilities, and I won't go through that. You'll get this in the PowerPoint from Diane, is all of the capabilities of the owner. Okay, and then what are the elements? Company name, the map, and you can move the map point around, your website, your address, your phone number, hours of operation. And what's nice on there is it has a place where you can put special hours if you're closed at, on the holidays. Description, that's important. Products and services, so you can put up a photo of a product and a price, photo of a service and price. Photos, interior photos, team photos, exterior photos, product photos, so all sorts of product photos. You can even upload videos, 360 photos. As the business owner, you cannot upload your own 360 photos. You have to go to someone who is certified as a 360 I should say photos, not videos, 360 photo provider. We happen to be one of those people, and we upload 360 photos to your Google account for you. And then you can see the 360 photos. And I always suggest you have fresh ones outside and inside. Some of you are seasonal, so it's nice to have it once a year or a few times a year so people can see winter, summer, and so forth. Reviews are critical. So reviews come with it. You can't turn them off like you can on Facebook. So if someone's going to give you a negative review, you can't, turn off all your reviews. You can't delete it. You can, however, tell Google that this person, if they're complaining about a person or if they're being a bully, you can actually remove that review. You have to click on, and I'll show you how you do that, but you can get rid of the reviews. It takes a few days, and I've done that for my clients. But the way to deal with negative reviews is, and I have a whole reputation management webinar that I do. And in there, what I suggest is what Google and Facebook, by the way, do is they look at the review you spent the most time with. So if you spent a lot of time with a negative review, talking back and forth, it's going to put that one first. So what you have to do is, I always keep a positive review in my back pocket for any of my clients. And so I don't answer it. And why? Because if there's a negative review, I will comment on the negative review. I try to take it offline and I stay positive, of course. Then for the positive review, I do a larger typed answer. I also do some links back to my website. I thank them. I let them know the team is going to be excited about seeing their review. Oh, by the way, did you know we also have this and this based on what you just talked about? You might enjoy this. So that's the review that Google or Facebook puts forward. So you got to be sensitive of that. Questions and answers is another element of your Google listing. There's a place on your Google listing, like I said, that you can put in a question and the answer. And you want to do that in the eyes of your clients. What will they be asking Google? You want to make sure you put that exact question there and then the answer you want Google to provide. This one is optional, but it's another thing when I'm doing my 2021 trends. Some of the things that became really big during COVID was businesses are answering questions through direct message more than telephone. So whoever was the person that answered your phone or your email, they may want to enable the direct message on your Google listing. It's similar to the direct message on your Facebook. People are asking questions through that if it's enabled. Clients want to know more information, and it's a really simple way to talk to your clients. So that's another free service they offer. You can actually even put that on your website if you wanted a live chat on your website. And then insights, they all come with those analytics. So when you set up your Google listing, these are the things you need to do when you set them up. You're going to put them your company name, a short profile. It's like a handle. You can go into it and put a short, just like on your Instagram account, you've got @123 Digital Power. So you can actually put a short name on here as well. The map, the address, the areas of and your products. So very similar, you want to go in and optimize these pieces. So when you first log in, so now you've clicked on that little house, this is what it looks like. Okay, so info is where you're going to go first. And on info, you're going to fill in all of your information. You're going to fill in the categories you sell into. You're going to fill in your address. And as you scroll down, you're going to fill in your description. You're going to add some products. You're going to add some, just go through it slowly and add your information. When I say optimize, I mean every word you put in there, think of it as a keyword. What are your clients searching for? Those are the words you want to be using when you're naming a photo and when you're putting in a description and when you have a title of a product. Optimize each of those elements. We have a whole webinar on just how to optimize your website and your world on Google. And one of those is your Google listing. And so that's where you want to go first. And this is as you scroll down, your service areas are important. So in this case, I want Kawartha TV and Stereo to come up for Peterborough, Kawartha Lakes, Lakefield, Norwood. So you can add as many service areas as you want. And if you went and looked at this one today, you'll notice that it actually says that they're opened on Sunday now from 11 till 4. I changed that yesterday for them because they're open on Sundays for the remaining of the year. So you can go in and change these whenever you need to. I won't get into more details on there. So then you could also on info scroll down or go right to products. And on products is where you would add your key products. When you add a product, you can add it to a category. So in this case, I have TVs. So when I add a Sony TV or a Samsung TV, I add them to a category of TVs. I've got audio. So when I add stereo systems, so similar to your website, what categories of services or products do I have? You use the same logic when you're adding products. So that helps Google know what it is you sell. So it's so powerful. So down here, see where I said the word products? This is where you would add services. If you were like myself and you don't sell a hard product, you sell services. If you wanted to manage your reviews, you click on reviews, and that's where you're going to be managing the reviews. When you click on reviews, it also gives you a link that you can send out to a client who you just had a really great engagement with and say, wow, would you mind putting a review on Google for me? And what I'm finding is there's one client I was working with in Sarnia, Ontario, and she has a restaurant, a lot of beautiful Google reviews. And that's exactly what she was doing, was she armed all of her staff with the Google link. And whenever there's somebody that just loved their restaurant, she would make sure that the staff had the training and the wherewithal to say, hey, would you mind giving us a Google review? Absolutely. But they had a little card that they gave them, or they texted them, depending on what the relationship was. So it's very cool. And that's how they increase their reputation. Down here, you can see that if they clicked on website, we would be able to create a website for Kawartha TV and Stereo. But of course, we already have an e-commerce site, so I wouldn't be creating one there. But what I wanted to show you was if I clicked on their products, you can see all of the different types of products I have in here: scooters, e-bikes, vacuum, audio, smart devices, and each one you end up going back to their website. This is one that is in Northumberland. It's Willamere Bed and Breakfast. And it's one that I was sent out to not too long ago to do their 360 photo. So, oops, I guess I was going to go to it and show it to you. But when you go to it, what you'll see is they have a beautiful 360 photo, and they're right on the water right here. And it's just, I loved it. It was so much fun doing that. It was very powerful. Let me just continue. What are 360 photos and why are they important? I think I'm going to wrap up. Oh, here it is. I knew I had this for you. I wanted to wrap on this one because it's just so nice. I wish it was this kind of weather right now, but went out to Willamere, stood here. So you imagine before their 360 photos outside, it was just the one that Google did driving by the front. So going out to their back, which is just phenomenal, it was just beautiful. So when you go to theirs, there's actually, a 360 outside and one in each one of their B&B rooms. So that's kind of cool. This is another company we did a 360 for, and I suggest you stage them if you can. So that's why I wanted to show you this one. Here, we did this one back in 2018, but their staff is still the same. And we pretended someone was on the table, and we staged this area so that people got a feeling for what it was like. So now we're thinking we need to redo it because they all should be wearing masks. So that's kind of one of the things we were thinking is I was talking to them the other day that it'd be easy to come in and restage this for them. So I think I'm going to just let you see what you're going to be getting in this PowerPoint when you get it, showing you here where the question and answer part is. Remember, I was mentioning there's a question and answer part in your Google listing. So that's where you'll see that. You basically go to it, you ask a question, and then you can get a client to ask a question, and then you can put in the answer, or you as the business could ask the question. It doesn't matter. Google reads it the same way, but it's good to have them there. Okay. And then I don't think I'm going to get into the rest of this. This is important.
Sofie?
Yes.
Sofie, just, excuse me. We do have several questions that have come in. So yeah, maybe I'll just let you wrap up.
Yeah, let's wrap up because all of this is all support, because you can also do an offer on your Google listing, which is kind of cool. And the rest of this I'm gonna share with you. This is the free website that we created for MINS, just so that you kind of have some supporting material of what I was talking about. And this was the one I really want to share with you to wrap up. Was, remember I was saying is you can go to your Google listing and you can get this link that you can share with people so that they can give you reviews. So it's one thing I really don't want you to forget to do. Okay. So
Okay.
I hope you found that useful. There's a lot more information there, but it's all on your Google listing.
All righty. All right. So I'm just going to read some of these questions out to you, Sofie, and I'm going to rapid fire. Okay.
Okay.
Sam was asking, how do you add social media links to your Google listing?
In the info section.
Okay.
Remember where I was showing you that you go into your info and you can fill in information on your info section. So info,
okay.
And then in here. Yeah.
Okay. So that's good. All right. And we do know that you can put products and services within your listing. So we had a question about that, but I think you did go over that in your presentation. Everyone's going to get this PowerPoint too, which will sort of walk you through some of these things that Sofie has reviewed, you know, rapidly. So we'll, you know, you'll have the Power Deck to go through. Can you pull testimonials from other social media, or do the testimonials have to be on Google?
You're not putting, you can't put testimonials up there. The reviews that are put up there are, I'm in my Google listing right now, are from people that have put them there for you. You can't add them yourself. So no, you cannot. You could though, however, go in and pretend you're doing a post, and on that post, just like you would on social media, add a testimonial if you think it's relevant and it has keywords in it. I would, though, if I was going to do that, I would type it in, the words, so that Google could read it, and then maybe do a photo of the testimonial from your other platform here if you want. That could be a way you do it, but no, you can't add it off the bat. Go on.
Okay. Can the reviews be monitored prior to posting?
No. I don't think so. Let me check, but I'm sure they cannot. And you know what? Back to the person that asked about the links, about adding other links to your Google listing. You can't add other links. It's only your website it lets you add. So if you wanted to add other links to your listing, you might want to do it in, where the heck is the oh my word, girlfriend, where did it go? There's a description area. You can add it there. I have this appointment link where people can make appointments with me, but there's no place that you can actually add your social media links unless I was to create a website and put it into my you know, dialogue in it, but there's really no place that you can add your social media links. You would have to work it into your description. Thank you, whoever asked that. You're not crazy if you were looking for it before.
So yeah, putting it in your description is a good idea. Okay. How important is it to buy and publish the Google business.site website that's included in the Google My Business platform?
So this is the so I have a website, obviously 123 Digital Power, but I did this one as well, and I bought it. So you can see it says digitalservices.com, and I bought it. I think it was all of $12 a year to do that, just because I wanted Google to give Google more information about me. So I think it helps with your SEO. So I don't, you know what I mean? So I think it helps. So with another one of my clients, they have their own website. What I did was I did the free version for them. Let me just go and show you. If I go back to my Google listing, and I think it was for knock on wood. Yeah, these babies. And I go to their website. So the free version of the Google listing is going to say, of the Google website, I apologize, of the Google website. So what the person asked was, the Google website that comes for free with your Google listing, how important is it to enable it? So when you first go to it, it's not going to be live. It's just the ability to create one. So I believe what their question was, how important is it to make it live? So I made this live because I wanted Google to have as much information about these guys as possible. but I didn't upgrade because I really want people to go to our website that I created for them. They're a Knock on Wood website, but I still created it only because I wanted them, Google, to know everything there is. And where is Google getting all this information that's on the website? It's from all the posts. Once a week, I go on to Google and I post a post about what's going on at this company, and that's where it's getting the information from for this website. So, and what I wanted this to say was just directions. I want people to know from this how to get to their location. Does that make sense? So when you go to it, when I go to posts, I have 4 different ways that I can post. I can post an event, which is really cool. If you have an event going on, I really recommend you post it on Google because it's a free place that you can put your event. An update is where I go once a week to post an update, and that's what feeds the fake websites, I want to call them, the websites that we create on Google. Or I can do a product update. And this is where I'm actually putting in a product name, adding it to a category, a price if I have one, a description, and a link back to the website. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Can you have multiple Google accounts and be able to switch between profiles with ease?
Yep. As you can see here, I have, well, I've got my Google listing here, and I've have a few of them that I manage, but I also have, if you go here and I want to go to commercial press, which is one of the ones I manage, I've just moved from one Google account to another Google account, and I manage Tom commercial presses on a separate one. But I could have come down here, see this user? I could have clicked on users, and I could have, he's the primary owner. I could have added myself, Sofie Andreou, as an editor, so I didn't have to go into his. But with him, we just agreed that I would manage it through his. Not even sure why, only because probably one of the first people I met when I moved to the city. Maybe that's why. But yeah.
What size business is Google My Business ideal for?
Every business. There isn't a business that shouldn't be on it, I don't think. Yeah, I mean, I have it for SO, they're resellers, and people that are just one-person businesses. If you want new clients, you definitely want to be on Google My Business. If you want a reputation, you want to be on Google My Business. If you don't want either, then you don't need to obviously be on Google My Business or digital marketing.
Okay, that's great. All right, well, in view of the time, Sofie, I want to say thank you so much on behalf of the Business and Entrepreneurship Northumberland, myself, and all of the other regions and women that are on this call today. I think this was an amazing presentation, very full of information. I warned you, didn't I? So it's a great gift that we're going to get that PowerPoint to help guide us through this. So as I mentioned before, this is going to be the first of a series of webinar/seminar Zoom sessions that we're going to be having for the Women's Entrepreneurship Program. So please watch your email. The next one will be in early 2021. So, you know, do watch for those. There'll be probably 4 next year that we know of so far. So I'm also going to be sending out, or you will be receiving, a SurveyMonkey link probably tomorrow or later this week. I really encourage you to complete it. It's a very short survey, and just hit submit. It's all anonymous, and I'm just trying to collect some feedback from all of you. So listen, thank you all for attending today, and I look forward to seeing you at the next session, and have a wonderful rest of the week. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Thank you. Thank you. Okay, so now to figure out how to save this big honkin' file. I guess I can upload it to, what do you use? Do you use Docs or Drive? Do you care, Diane? Mine will automatically save to Drive. That's okay?
I think so, yep.
Okay, so I will upload it to Drive as a PDF, and if that doesn't work for you, then what I've had to do for